Welcome back. It's your boy, Weekly Flow. We're gonna cover the first round because you know what? I don't care that the first slate of games already happened yesterday. It's whatever. Let's just go over it. Let's go through my picks. Let's go through my predictions. Let's go through my reactions. Let's do it. Let's start in the East. Let's start in the East. The first was it the first game? No, first game of the day was. You know what? Let's start there. Let's start with the Sixers and the Nets. So I got the Sixers sweeping. You know what? I applaud the Sixers for not like going super tank mode and just like missing the playoffs and doing a playing game and then losing right away and blah blah blah. I have the Sixers sweeping. The three reasons why and one nigh league MVP, an African from Cameroon, and a former MVP. So two of those things are the same. I'm very aware of that. And then James Harden. However, can the depth hold out to be positive? Have an actual like they can keep the lead and keep winning when Harden and Embiid are off the floor. When one of them's out on the floor, usually good things happen. When I watched the first game, Harden was just absolutely abusing all those mismatches, all the switching, finding the open guys. Like, I mean, barely dribble paint penetration and was like kick out for an open look. Even if it wasn't, a made shot, it was an open look. And that was good enough. I, I feel, I feel so bad for Nets fans. It's been good to them that they have Mikal Bridges now and that they have some good guys and whatnot. But like, man, I feel so bad for Nets fans. They have so little in stock for their future. They have Mikal, but that's about it. Hey, they're gonna get two home games. I don't know if Vaughn is gonna Jacques Vaughn is gonna want to leave or if he's gonna stay during a rebuild or whatever they might do. But I think this one is chalk. Sixers are probably gonna sweep. It might go 5 games. You might get a game one win or a game four win, like inspired kind of play. But I think game three win rather in Brooklyn. I just think it's gonna be a sweep. On to the next round that also was not very entertaining, and the Sixers were up by 30 at halftime. The 2 seed Sixers sweeping the 7 seed Atlanta Hawks. They're the defending East champs. Their defense is incredible, and they have the best healthy duo. I know how you Lakers fans get. I know how you Lakers fans get, and I know how you other teams get, especially Sixers fans too. They have the best healthy duo in the league. When they're both healthy, they are the best healthy duo. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they have it. The one nigh though is, can the Celtics prove that they have elite rebounding and can Time Lord stay healthy? It always seems like there's something going on with him, whether it be a hamstring thing or whether it be like just like getting dinged up, ankle, whatever it might be. I feel bad for him because he plays real hard and he's really good, but it's a matter of can he stay healthy even in a series where they're probably going to win. His matchup against Okongwu and what's his name, Capella. It's going to be a bit of a tough one. Like rebounding wise, like fighting for boards and stuff, but the Hawks, they can't hide Trae Young. Not against this team, not against the Celtics, and they don't have the bodies to stop both Jason and Jaylen. You can maybe stop one of them, but the pressure, if they're both on the floor, there's no way. They should match up better. I know that they have, and again, it's a rookie. They just don't have the experience. AJ Griffin. They have John Collins, but he's more of a 4, so he'd be on Grant Williams and not maybe like he might switch on to Jason on sometimes, but I don't see them matching up and competing well enough to keep up with just the potency of Jason and Jaylen, especially Jaylen. Jaylen's going to attack that. He's super aggressive against smaller wings, and he's going to go at them. He's going to make them work on the dribble, and he's going to break them down. But I think Quinn Snyder's a good enough head coach to maybe put something together to steal a game. Maybe 2. That's like the likelihood is like probably less than 1% for them to get 2 games on them, push the series to 6. So Cavs Knicks, this game happened. Oh, Sixers 1-0, Celtics 1-0. Cavs Knicks. This is an interesting one. Knicks won the first game, so it's 1-0 Knicks. But I have the Cavs in 7. The reason why is they have Donovan Mitchell. He's one of the better playoff performers that we have in the entire league. He's just that good. Their 3-point shooting is much better as a whole. I don't know if they're like still in the top of attempting threes compared to the Knicks, and I know that they sometimes both like to shoot a lot of threes, especially Julius Randle. But I just collective defense at 3-point shooting. I just think the Cavs have everything that's necessary to beat this team. Can the young guys make a jump quickly, though? So Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, can they actually elevate their play? Because in this game, they really didn't. Evan Mobley just didn't make shots. He looked kind of intimidated, looked like he wasn't being his full self. So can they make that jump to actually prove like, hey, we're actually, we're a top 4 seed in the East and a really competitive, like top heavy conference. So it's kind of the question that I have for them. For the Knicks, it's just the offense. I don't think it can hold up. Their offensive rebounding was really good. But is their continuity going to hold up? Is Julius Randle going to be able to play well? Is RJ Barrett even going to show up? Because he was really bad tonight or last night. Is Emmanuel quickly going to be able to show out? It's like, what can we get besides Josh Hart grabbing a bunch of offensive rebounds and Jalen Brunson doing a bunch of turnaround, like shot fake, pump fake, off the glass jumpers? And I do not like Thibodeau. I do not like Coach Thibs. I don't know if he's going to be flexible enough. I know that the minute allocation was pretty good for him, but I don't know if we can trust him to be able to not, at one point, is Jalen Brunson going to be on the court for two straight quarters and then it's halftime and then he maybe sits 3 minutes and then plays the rest of the game, and he plays 45 minutes. I don't know if it comes down to those 5, 6, 7 games, if they're going to, if Coach Thibs is going to be able to adjust his lineup so that he actually has firepower at the end of it and they're not gassed and it's not Julius Randle chucking up, sidestep threes while being double teamed with 2 seconds left to go on the shot clock. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure, but I just think Cavs in 6, they have everything that they need to win. It's just a matter of, can they do it? Is their experience going to hold them back, especially with those young guys? So the Bucks. I'm going to go into greater detail immediately after this and make a much more in-depth, thorough one because I watched both play-in games for the Heat and I watched obviously I watch the Bucks all the time. Big Bucks guy over here. But game 1 Bucks, I have the Bucks in 6. Game 1 Bucks. Giannis is not going to be contained. He is not going to allow himself to be contained whatsoever. And then Heat are not equipped to put out both defensively and offensively. So, that's in the Bucks' favor. However, will the health show itself for Middleton, Grayson, and Pat? Those are 3 guys. One started a lot of games this year. One has had a down year in shooting and just health in general with a hamstring and some ankle stuff. But now Middleton with his knee, I think it's his right knee that he had kind of hurt, and they've had a bunch of time to recover now. But it's this thing, is he going to be 100%? Is Middleton going to be able to actually go out there and be that Middleton that is necessary for the offense to actually have some life to it? The Heat are in a tough spot, and just in general, as a franchise, as an organization, and they're relying on a Max Strus career night against a bad offensive team in the Bulls to outdo it, and they lost to the Hawks team that just got spanked by the Celtics. The inconsistency from Bam and the shooters are going to be why they lose. If they don't have guys hitting shots, obviously, yeah, you can say that about anybody, but specifically, if you don't have Gabe Vincent, if you don't have Max Strus, if you don't have Kyle Lowry having a wild 32-point game, you just listing those guys, they're short guards who can kind of be handsy on defense, but you just don't trust them, especially on the offensive side. But expect the Heat to win probably their first home game, and then there's third home game, which would be game 5. And no, not game 5. Why did I say game 5? Anyways, I expect the Heat to at least take one game. So probably 5, but also maybe 6. So maybe they steal the second game in Milwaukee and they're like, oh no, the Bucks are going to be down. I just think the Bucks are going to handle it. The Heat are going to go 110%, and then they're not going to have anything to end the series. But it's going against Jimmy Butler, and when you have Jimmy Butler on your team, you have a chance to at least get 1 or 2 games because he wills his teams to at least have a 6-game series. But I'm gonna do a full breakdown after this, so go over it on that video. In the West Coast, I have let's see, 1 second. Sorry, I had to make a cut there because I just remembered something. Anyways, let's go over to the West. Let's start with the game that happened last night. The crazy game that I got the pleasure to watch, the last little bit right before halftime, and then I watched most of the second half. I think I missed a little bit in the third quarter. It was in the third quarter, and I started watching, and I was like, man, this is getting crazy intense. And then it started to pick up a lot for the Kings in the, oh my goodness, sorry. Oh, I am just rough. I still haven't slept after work, and I just work a 10-hour overnight, so yay me. Anyways, the Kings, it was ridiculous, man. Sabonis was going at it. He was not hitting anything. It was like he was trying to break the backboard with some of his shots. He was just bricking things in the paint. Credit to Looney, credit to Draymond for that, but he was super persistent, got a bunch of boards off of his own shots, and having a bunch of interior presence allowed that run where they started to hit a bunch of threes. Monk was crazy. He had 32. Fox ended up with 38, and you just know, the announcers were talking about it, the takeover. This is the perennial clutch player of the year award winner, or he hasn't won yet, but come on, let's be serious. The Kings have been in so many close games, not the most close games, but a lot of close games, and averaging no, not 14, because that's kind of absurd. I think it was 10 points. Maybe that's a little high too. He was averaging an absurd amount of points in the fourth quarter alone. And he's so clutch and he's so persistent. He has that mid range that he's going to pull up from. He has, he can get to the rack, especially with it's weird with Fox because it seems like they might be undersized or his size, going against Curry. They're about the same height. If I remember correctly. I know that Curry's listed at 6'4", 6'3". He's maybe 6'2", 6'3". but it doesn't matter. Like Fox is so fast that it translates to power that he gets to the rim. He might not be dunking, but he's finishing at the rim and he's getting really close interior paint shots. And it's ridiculous, man. The three-headed monster that Sacramento has, it's ridiculous. They have someone who clearly is dominant. Like he's a true big man, incredibly strong. And then Monk he can jump out of the gym. It doesn't matter like who he's against. He can elevate. He can finish at the rim. He can get put back dunks, and he can step outside and hit the three. And I just think their offense at home will be harder to take over on defense than vice versa, where Golden State's offense at home is, even though the Kings aren't great defensively, I do think that just that home crowd, that first series, that first win in so many years, they're going to have so much more energy. And if Golden State's going to steal a game, it's going to be game 5. And then it might be like, like if they win both home games, like are they gonna win in game 6 on the road or at home? Are they going to be able to take care of business? I just think the question that I have for the Kings though is, can their bench guards, Dellavedova and Mitchell, Davion, can they get meaningful minutes where they're actually able to get stops and where they're lining up lineup wise with the Warriors? I don't know. Delly's old and Mitchell's really young, and they haven't been in the playoffs in a while, so we'll see. Warriors they can't defend on the road, man. I just don't think that the Warriors, like, you could clearly tell that once the other team got in the swing, like in that middle of that fourth quarter when they started to really make that push and they were kind of going back and forth, but they like moved it up to like a 6-5 point lead. It felt like even that, like even if they got bailed out by a 3-pointer that made it a 2-point, 1-point, or even took the lead, it was like it felt like it took everything for them just to hit a three. Even though they have some of the best shooting collectively in the NBA, it was really tough. And Wiggins has missed 2 months of NBA basketball, came in and was 1 for 8 from three. Like that's credit to him for shooting the ball and continuing to shoot. But like, man, like he had that final shot and it was just like, it was a good look, but you can tell that it wasn't like he was staring at the ball necessarily, but it was like he was just like kind of out of it. Like he's not fully engaged yet because he's been out of the game for so long. And not saying that he's not fully engaged and he's not trying, but it's just like having that rhythm. It's like, you pick up a game they haven't played in 2 years and you're like, oh shoot, like I'm getting whooped right now. Like, how do I play this? And it's like after you get a few reps in and after you play for a while, like, oh, okay, I get it. But I just think the Warriors have the means to make this a 5-6 game series, but it's probably going to go 7, which is why I have Kings in 7. And then it can go either way though. It's experience versus the fresh meat, the potency versus legacy. It's the beam versus the bay, if you want to say. I got the rhymes, and I like to eat hay, and it's a brand new day. You can like the video. I would appreciate that. Memphis, I have in 7. The 3 reasons why and 1 9. Memphis has more shooting, and that'll be the difference, I think. They have Desmond Bane, they got Tyus Jones, they have Dylan Brooks, who's not going to make a bunch of shots, but he will take a bunch of shots. And then John Morant is still a borderline superstar. Like, he's literally the best athlete in the league. I don't care what you have to say. He is the best athlete, like pound for pound. And then their bench has so much more continuity than the Lakers bench does. The Lakers bench has dealt with so many injuries. They haven't played a bunch together. Even though they have good chemistry, they just don't have that continuity where, they have 35 games of this. They have 25 maybe, but even then there's a lot of people in and out of the lineup. LeBron, AD, Vanderbilt not being fully there all the time, Russell coming out with an ankle injury, and I don't think that they necessarily have everything fully there for them to be the favorite in this series. So that's why I have to go Memphis in 7. And that's the thing, is it's still a 7-game series. It's a 2 seed versus a 7 seed, but the 7 seed has LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But the lack of front court and Brandon Clark, who's out for the season and then indefinitely, and then Steven Adams, who is out. Maybe if they make a deep postseason run, he can come back against AD in the paint. But like I said, Lakers have the ability to win this in 6, but are we going to get all NBA Anthony Davis? Or are we going to get Anthony Day to Davis, who's passive, takes bad shots, who like might get dinged up on one play and have to miss a game or two? It's just, you can't have that. He has to be an Iron Man as much as it might pain him. And like both teams, they don't have an answer for Ja. You don't really have an answer for LeBron, because LeBron's going to get 2 wins himself. Like, it's just going to happen. The series will go 6 games no matter what. But I don't know. I just don't think that Dylan Brooks is going to be able to match up on LeBron like as much as hopeful as the Grizzlies are probably game planning. So Memphis in 7. So the Nuggets, the 8-1 or the 1-8 rather. Sorry, I have them in 5 with the Timberwolves. Jokic is just too good. The brand of Denver ball is too good. They just play really, really good basketball. Their offense is really potent. Aaron Gordon has been amazing on defense. Bruce Brown is the ultimate glue guy in any team you can put him on. And I just maybe the only question that you have is Jokic going to get exposed in pick and roll with Mike Conley? Is he going to get exposed off the dribble with Karl Anthony Towns, or is he going to squash that narrative and he's going to actually prove that he can play defense in the playoffs and not be exploited on the defensive side? T-Wolves have the means to beat this team, but they don't have the poise to finish. Just like last year, they blew their chance to beat the Grizzlies. They had 2 games where it felt like they're going to win this series. This could be a 5-game series we're talking about, the 7 seed and the 2 seed. However, or were they the 1 seed at that point? No, I think they were the 2 seed. Anyways, they're definitely not beating this team if they couldn't beat Memphis last year. Edwards has to be not the best version of himself, but he can't dip under above average. He has to be really good for them. He can't delve into that area where he's shooting 5 for 16, 3 for 14, having 12, 13 points. He has to minimum put up 23 a game. There's no scenario in which the Timberwolves have any chance to win if he's not being the leader of the team. Even if he's not being the leader, like Mike Conley could be the leader or Kyle Anderson can be the leader, but he has to be the guy who's infallible, essentially, which is really tough on a really young guy like him. Even though he's a great athlete and he has great energy and he's always going to at least be engaged and try, I just don't think that he can afford to play poorly. And I think that Denver's going to take advantage of it, even though for some reason people are saying that the Timberwolves are like really, really good and that they're actually better than like a bunch of teams in the East, like the Knicks, and even better than the Cavs. It's like they're good, but it's the Denver Nuggets. They're way better. They should be much, much, much better. Even the Denver Nuggets took the Suns, like almost an entirely full roster of the Suns, to a really close game in Phoenix, and there was like 1 starter playing. That's how good this Nuggets team is. And if they don't beat this team in 5 games, if it even goes 6 games, that's a little concerning. So I have the Nuggets in 5, Memphis in 7. I have the Kings in 7. Again, that one can go either way. And then I have the Suns in 5. So with the Suns are going to be the toughest matchup for any team outside the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Lakers. The Lakers are unique because they have all NBA like type big man and LeBron, which if you have to guard LeBron, that's a mismatch. It doesn't matter how well you think you can guard him, even if he's 38,000 years old, it's still going to be a tough one. The Suns have Kevin Durant, and then Paul George is down. The Clippers don't have the personnel offensively to match the Suns and KD. Westbrook can be the X factor for the Clippers, but without Paul George to defend, Westbrook's not being a really great defender. He hasn't really been in his career. And if Paul George is going to be down, who's going to guard Devin Booker? Who's going to guard, swing passes to Josh Okogie? Who's going to drive into the paint and kick it to Chris Paul? Who's going to kick it? And it's just like mid-range. And if you don't have Paul George to be there to defend, it's not going to be a close series. I think it can be a tough series, like kind of like last year's Nets team where they got swept, but like the point differential was like 17 for the Celtics. I think it can be like that, but I think it's going to be like very convincingly the Suns will they'll jump 12, 13 points. Maybe that might be a bit much, but they'll jump ahead at the end of those games that they do win. And so that's why I have Suns in 5. I just think the Suns have better, like they have better defense, or better defense in depth than it's like the inverse kind of. The Suns have better defense in depth than the Clippers with like Okogie and Torrey Craig. Like they have like people who can actually defend, whereas it's the inverse with the Clippers where they have Norman Powell off the bench who can put up 25, 26 points. And they have, what's his face? Why am I forgetting? I'm forgetting. What's his name? I feel so bad. Terrence Mann? Is that his name? Oh, I feel so bad. Anyways, they have people who can like get a bucket and who can, shoot a mid-range and finish at the rim, but it's just without one of their key guys, they just can't do it. They can't get it done against Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and someone who's going to have a reduced role. So hopefully that helps his health in Chris Paul. So Suns in 5, Bucks in 6, Celtics sweep, Sixers sweep, Cavs in 6. Long-winded. I am really exhausted. I just want to get this video done. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I love you. Stay awesome. It's been your boy, Weekly Flow, and I will see you again next time. Peace.